Crafty Friends, Annie Collins here for Pajama Crafter Stamps. Today we're creating a teacher appreciation card. All week long, the design team will be featuring cards for Teacher Appreciation Week. So I am using the Hippo Hooray Stamp Set, and I'm going to go over all our products and then we'll get into the card. So the Hippo Hooray Stamp Set contains 5 images and 8 sentiments. 1 sentiment layers, so technically it's 7, but you know what I mean. You have some great sentiments like, "I'm so proud of you. I hippo how to miss you." The high you can use one way or layer it. And then I'll be using heartfelt thank you. I can read. And this hippo. I'm also going to be using the banner dies. You get a set of 3 dies, a large, medium, and small. The packaging says something different, but they are from Pajama Crafting. This is the Scalloped Circle Die. I'll be using this. It's the smaller of the 2 circle dies that we have in the shop. There's the Marshmallow Cardstock. I know I need a refill. These are the A2 panels. This comes in A2 panels, pre-cut for you, and in the larger, 8.5 by 11. And then, 8.5 by 11. Then you have the 8.5 by 11 Pebble Beach cardstock, which I love because it has all that little natural fibers in it. We're going to use that to create our chalkboard, or part of our chalkboard. So here's a better look at the Pebble Beach cardstock, which I've already cut a little rectangle out of. So here you see, there it is. And that's going to be the back layer of our chalkboard. And here's where I use the scallop circle. I use it to die cut this paper from my stash that has little apples. There's the larger of the banners. And here is, well, that's my Marshmallow cardstock. I have a layering cardstock in black. Now this black cardstock is from my stash. There is beautiful coal cardstock. I'm going to link that below for you. That's from the shop. I don't have any, so I will get some, but I'm going to link the one from the shop, the coal. All right. Again, this one is just from my stash. I have this pattern paper that reads like, or it doesn't read like, it is loose leaf paper. That's what it looks like, loose leaf paper. So those are all the elements. I'm going to grab this black cardstock and we're going to heat emboss our sentiment because that's going to be our chalkboard. I have some VersaMark ink and some white embossing powder. I have some Ranger embossing powder. And I'm going to stamp that onto our black cardstock and then we'll die cut it out. Here's the little rectangle die that I'm going to use to create our chalkboard, and it would layer nicely like that. So it's going to be super cute. All right, set that to the side. I also have my embellishment tray, and I have this little piece here that looks like a piece of chalk. This is left over from a project I did where I created a little sheep, and this is supposed to be the little sheep legs, but to me it looked like a little piece of chalk, so I'm going to use that. And then these are some embellishments from my stash. I'm going to link embellishments to the shop for you. My glue holder, which I love because the heart is magnet and you can hold your needle for you. We'll be using some Olo markers, some grays, some light grays. I have gray 1, 3, and 5, and an R 0.5. That's going to be for the cheeks and the little inside of the ear. Sorry, 0.2. And I have my blender just in case I need it. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to put some anti-static powder onto the cardstock, and I'm going to apply it heavily. Normally, I don't put this much, but I want it to look, once I'm done with it, to look like the chalkboard has been erased. The shame of it is that there are no longer chalkboards in classrooms anymore. They're just whiteboards. For most classrooms, they use like dry erase markers. So the old-fashioned we grew up with chalkboards are almost all gone. All right, so back to the card. I'm going to use some VersaMark ink to ink up our sentiment, and I'll do this twice to make sure I have even. I start off with my fingers, and then I realize I need my frog press. So let me grab that so I can apply nice even pressure. Now I have the frog pet press. There are different little animals that you can choose from. Those will be linked for you below as well. All right, let me get this cleaned up and out of our way. I wanted to make sure I grab my stamp because I'll forget and then I'll misplace it. All right, let me get this out of our way and we can start putting embossing powder onto our panel. And I have my heat tool ready to go on the side. There we go. I shake off the excess. I'll close this before I make a mess. All right, now we can heat this. So I'm going to grab my heat tool and I like to heat from behind. That kind of partially sets your powder so it doesn't start flying everywhere. And then I can heat this. If you've never heat embossed before, it starts out really grainy. And then as you heat it, it melts nice and smooth. Once it's melted nice and smooth, you know that it's set. So I'm going to let this sit to the side to cool off. Normally, on black cardstock, I use a microfiber cloth and wipe it all off. I'm not going to do that for here because then I'll lose the effect of the chalkboard feel that I want. So I'm going to set this to the side to cool off because it's still too hot. And if you touch it, it can smear. Ask me how I know because I've done it more times than I can tell you. All right, so let's go ahead and stamp our little hippo. I'm using the Marshmallow cardstock and my stamp positioner here. And I'm going to grab some Memento ink. And I'm going to have to stamp this a couple times because I need to refill my Memento. Didn't realize that when I started, but I will once we get going. All right, I'm going to go ahead and use that. And I'm using Memento ink because we'll be using alcohol markers to color the image. Now, not into alcohol markers? No big deal. Go ahead and grab your color pencils or any other coloring medium that you prefer. All right, so I'm using my frog press to get that nice even pressure. I think it's so cute. Now there's like a puppy, I think a cat, and I'm gonna say a pig, and there's something else. I know there's like I think 3 or 4 different ones you can choose from. All right, I'm going to let this sit for a second, and I went ahead and die cut my little chalkboard. Now that's all set. I'm going to grab my clipboard. You know, I like to color on top of my clipboard so I don't get everything all over my desk. So here's our little hippo. So cute. And I'm going to open all my markers, get them all ready. And I'll start with the pink because I'll start with the ears, inside the little ears. And I put a little pink on I'm going to say his, little cheeks. Don't know. And on his little tongue in there. That's it. That's all we're going to use for the pink. Now I'm going to start with my darkest gray marker, which is the CG5. I'm using Olos. You can use Copic or whatever alcohol markers you prefer. But using the darkest gray, I'm going to fill in all the edges and then feather them in. Just creating that dimension for our hippo because his head is round. So that's what we're trying to replicate. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Fill in his little nostrils here. And then I'll move on to the medium tone, which is the CG3, and blend that out, leaving a little gap there. That's where my lightest tone will go. There we go. His little face is so cute. This is a cute little set. I like the one that is laying down, looking all like frumpy. Adorable. And then I'm going to finish off here with the lightest gray marker, blending everything out. This is a cute set. I was trying to figure out, because there's a little hippo sitting, how to make a classroom and have the students sitting, but couldn't figure that one out, right? I'm going to give it a go, though. I'm going to see about how I can come up with that. I thought it would be cute. Up, here we go. I'm going to do the same thing now for his little body, outlining the darkest areas first, and then I go in with the mid-tone and then with our lightest. Now, like I mentioned all week long, here on the channel and on the blog, the design team will be featuring teacher appreciation cards. So be sure to check out both here and the blog to see some beautiful inspiration from the team. Everyone is putting out some really adorable cards, and teachers deserve a lot of appreciation. So I'm almost done here coloring our little hippo. I'm going to finish blending out the light gray. And as always, I will have everything linked for you in the description box below. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them there for me. Will gladly answer them for you. All right, so now we don't have coordinating dies, so I'm going to fussy cut this little hippo out really quick. I'm going to save my marshmallow cardstock for another card, which I have planned here in a little bit. And I'm going to just trim it. I fussy cut by moving the paper and keeping my scissors as still as possible. That way I get a nice clean edge. Or technically I should be using my scan and cut, but didn't feel like setting all that up for one little image. So here I am just fussy cutting. It's simple to cut. It goes pretty quick, as you can see. Now I am slightly sped up, but not by much. All right, we're almost done. And then I'll show you how to clean up any edges here in one moment. There we go. So cute. Let me move this out of our way. So to clean our edges, I'm going to use a Memento marker in black. Just go all the way around. This will hide if you miss anything, you have a little imperfection, you can do that. It'll hide that and it'll keep it nice and crisp and eliminate that white line. If you do this, always use the marker toward the back. In case you slip, you don't get anything on your image. It goes on the back and it won't ruin it. So I'm going to bring in a Jelly Roll pen in white, a number 10, to put a few little dots on his cheeks, a little highlight on top of his head, and on his little brown belly there. Just putting 3 dots for highlights. I'm not doing a line or anything. There he is, all done. So cute. And that's it. All right. Oh, I also put a little highlight in his eyes, a little sparkle. All right, let's build our card. First, let's go ahead and build our chalkboard. So we're going to adhere the black cardstock onto the Pebble Beach one, making sure that we leave a nice little frame edge. See, the magnet holds your little pin, so I always know where it's at. Love that little cupcake glue holder. There's a variety of colors. Mine is teal, but there's a variety of colors to choose from. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and place that there. All set. And now I'm going to put some foam adhesive on the back of our little hippo here. Put a few right here on those little feet, little legs. And I'm going to look for my chalk. Where did I put it? There it is. And I'm going to adhere the little chalk to the hand right there. Press that, make sure it's nice and even. There we go. So cute. So it does, when we're done, you're going to see it looks just like the little hippo wrote the little message. All right, let's start by adhering the pattern paper to the cardstock. Okay, I've trimmed this down with the die from my stash, so I get a nice little black edge all the way around. There we go. Creates a nice little frame. We'll adhere this panel now to the front of our card, and then we can continue building all the layers. Get this even. So I love these banner dies. They, like I said, come in 3 sizes. Let me move this around. I was playing to figure out where I wanted this, but I want this right here on the edge. These come in 3 sizes, which is great for adding nice dimension, or you can move them across if you're making it like a slim line by cutting 2 and attaching them and hiding them, you know, it'd be nice. All right, so I'm going to place my banner right about there. And I'm also cheating by using the lines on this paper. It looks like ruled notebook paper to make sure everything is lined up. It helps a lot. A lot. So I'm going to adhere now our little chalkboard. I put our little circle one down and everything just gets layered. There we go. Overlapping like so. Oops, that wiggled. And pardon my hair sticking in the view. So again, I'm going to use those lines. See that red line there? I'm going to pretend that's hit the floor and place the hippo like it's standing on that red line. And I want him to just overlap the banner and the chalkboard, just so. Now, the little chalk is getting a little lost there, so I'm going to grab my gray marker and just add a little shadow so that you can really see it on the paper. All right, so I'm going to bring in our embellishment tray and our embellishment wand, And our tray has some red gems. Now, these red gems are from my stash, but I will make sure to link the embellishments, which there's a variety to choose from, in the description for you so that you can go check those out and be pleasantly surprised. So I'm going to put a little trio up here towards the top and then another little trio towards the bottom here. And once I get that one there, okay. So you see I have a little excess glue right there on my chalkboard from that smaller gem. I'm going to use the other side of the embellishment wand and clear it with the little pokey tool. Just wipe it off. And then with the back of this, I push down on my gems to make sure that they are actually set into the glue. And now our card is complete. So I'll go over what we used once again. The Pebble Beach cardstock. Again, this comes in 8.5 by 11. The Marshmallow cardstock, the A2 size. The banner dies, which that's where I use those. The Scalloped Circle die. And the Hippo Hooray Stamp Set. I will have everything linked for you in the description box below. Don't forget to leave me any comments or questions. If you have anything, you can ask me. And if you make a teacher card, share it with us, especially if you use Pajama Crafter stamps. Share it with us on our Facebook page. Thank you, or link us on Instagram. Thank you so much. I hope you have found some inspiration. Here's another look at our card.